Just so you know, I am watching you right now. Okay, that's a little creepy, especially if you were watching this at home. But since you're watching in class, I am watching you. And yeah, you're probably looking at me like I'm crazy right now. What up? What up? I was on my way home from getting my hair did. Got a little haircut for the parental units in parent teacher conferences. And I thought we're going to do something different tomorrow. So you're watching this in class. And I want to briefly go over interest groups' tactics and techniques that they use to try to influence public policy. Remember, interest groups aren't running individuals for office, they're just trying to affect laws and public policy in one way or another. We talked about some of these things already, so I'm going to kind of breeze through them. Mass media, the use of print and television, and now the advent of the internet, that is used frequently as well to try to encourage people um, to support or oppose a piece of legislation or public policy. Some interest groups, NRA being one of them, uses platforms like Twitter, and it kind of opens it up. The internet is a wonderful resource, and it allows a lot of different interest groups to try to influence policy without paying hundreds of thousands of dollars to do a national television ad. Boycotting, we talked about today. Some groups use boycotting. The American Family Association, we talked about today in most of my classes, want to boycott McDonald's and Starbucks because they allow individuals free Wi-Fi where they may look at child pornography and other stuff. So that's bad. Litigation, again, is using the courts. It's using the courts to try to change. Oh, my goodness. Unbelievable. No, I get it. Back to litigation. I used Brown versus Board of Education, the gay marriage case this past summer. Again, knowing that you're not going to be able to convince members of legislative bodies to change public policy, it's just a different route to take. And certainly the Supreme Court, when they make decisions, essentially can strike down laws or establish what is constitutional in our country. Amicus briefs. These are briefs, again, individuals who are not part of a Supreme Court case still may feel very strong about the potential decision and therefore may file briefs. United States v. Windsor was a case which argued that the Defense of Marriage Act was unconstitutional. It is a gay marriage or gay rights case from 2 years ago. If we look down, we have a tremendous amount of amicus briefs for one side or the other. The dark green are for the United States in defense of the Defense of Marriage Act. And what these are basically opinion papers saying this is how you should rule on this case based on past decisions that you've made as a Supreme Court. Get out of here. So these are long. This one here is 30 pages long. And at the beginning of these, you're going to see a variety of cases. All of these cases that are listed are past cases that the Supreme Court or lower courts have made. Jackson versus Abercrombie, unbelievable. That the lower courts have made in which this group, in this case, the Conference of Catholic Bishops, no surprise against gay marriage, they're going to argue that all of these high-tech gays, what the heck is that? All of these cases in the court's ruling, they're going to make the argument that it backs their side. And so later on in the brief, you're going to see a summary of argument. So why the Defense of Marriage Act defining marriages between a man and a woman is correct. And then they're going to put their argument and their rationale based on a lot of cases. You see all these cases which are italicized, listed. There's no fundamental right to marry a person of the same sex. And then they're going to put forth their argument in which they believe that there is no fundamental right. And again, they're going to use past cases to support their argument. If we go back, you'll see a variety of other interest groups that are siding with gay rights groups and believe that marriage should be extended to those of same sex. American Jewish Committee. They play ads on the radio in Chicago all the time. I mentioned that in one of my courses. And they do the same thing. They're going to list cases that back their side. And then they're going to get into their argument later on in the brief. First, they're going to put what their interest is, why they're interested in the potential decision that the court will make. And then they're going to give their summary of argument and provide pages and pages of information. This one goes almost 45 pages. In their conclusion at the end, the judgments below should be affirmed, yada, yada, whatever. So those are amicus briefs. And most Supreme Court cases have several amicus briefs. None will have, or very few will have, the amount that some of these gay rights cases had. If you look, there are a ton of amicus curiae briefs in support and opposition of the Defense of Marriage Act. Incidentally, Windsor won and did not have to pay the IRS, close to $300,000 in penalties because she inherited her spouse's estate. There are some other ways. Campaign contributions is the next lecture, so we'll save that. Political action committees. I'm not going to put super PACs on there yet. Endorsement of candidates. This weekend, the National Education Association endorsed Hillary Clinton. And of course, it was in the news that they supported her for president, or at least for the Democratic nomination. If she wins, she'll surely get it for the general election as well. You'll target with ads and other avenues, unlike candidates. We'll get into that later too. Report cards. There's a group called Immigration, Numbers USA for lower immigration levels. And they will literally give grades for members of Congress. Let's see. Illinois. Could you refresh a little bit quicker here? Overall grade, C. So you see, okay, Illinois is not getting very good grades. C plus, C minus. C plus is the highest. Peter Roskam used to be a member of Congress that represented Elmhurst, and then you got even F minuses. Unbelievable. Mike Quigley, your representative, got an F minus. He's a Democrat. And you'll see they base it on a variety of scores. We don't need to get into what chain migration is, etc. But reduce illegal immigration at the borders, no grade. It's an F minus for reducing amnesty enhancements, making it easier for individuals who are in the United States illegally to get citizenship. Challenge the status quo. If you clicked on here, they'd give an explanation, but we don't have the time to wait. So they can give report cards. Who looks at these? Very few people, probably. But if you're really into the immigration issue and you're making your decision based upon that issue, you could see what their scores are for your members of Congress. Lobbying is obviously going into the Congress and trying to get them to support or oppose a piece of legislation. We talked about that. You were literally going to Congress and trying to get support. You could be emailing, you could be calling, you could be sitting outside their office, if you will. Iron triangles are relationships between interest groups, the respective government agency, and congressional committee. And let's see here. We're getting close to my limit. So you see here, Congress, it may be a congressional committee like the Committee on Agriculture. The bureaucracy would be the Department of Agriculture, and the interest group might be the Farm Bureau. And so there's relationships between all three avenues here, and they help each other. So we will end it there. We'll go to the next one, and peace.